Howdy hondy, y'all. I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Now, today we're going to be talking about anime. In fact, the sub versus dub debate, which I'm sure if you know anything about anime, you know the sub versus dub debate. Now, I do believe that there is a very important historical aspect that needs to be talked about that differentiates it from modern day anime. And just for quick transparency, I am half Japanese, so I do enjoy sub personally. But at the end of the day, just watch what you like. There's no point in like trying to force somebody to watch it in a certain way, unless it's like a specific anime with a really good moment or something. Um, but if we are talking about older anime, a lot of these English dubs simply weren't good due to how niche anime was, and especially before the Great Shift, there just wasn't much money available for localization. And back then, if you were wanting to watch anime before piracy sites, before Crunchyroll, before Kiss Anime, rip Kiss Anime, by the way, rest in peace. It took me through middle school. But before that, you had to watch anime through YouTube when it's like every single episode was split into like 13 different parts. A lot of times, like half of those parts just gone. You don't get that episode. And you younger viewers don't recognize how easy you have it now. There's like 50 piracy sites. Um, Not that I think I'm important enough that this would be an issue, but don't link them here. We don't need the government to shut down and sue or whatever. Always an issue. But because budgets were so limited, many dubs suffered from weak voice acting, awkward lip syncing, and translations often failed to capture what the original dialogue was saying. And due to this, the actors really weren't able to convey the emotions, and sometimes it was just entire lines were changed just to fit the timing. And although it's technically not an anime, I do believe the best modern day example of this would be Squid Games. And at the same time, the Korean drama community Great Shift equivalent would definitely be Squid Games, because now it seems like there are better funding that's put into Korean dramas, especially with the popularity in the US. But anybody who's seen the English dub for Squid Games recommends watching it in Korean because of how bad the English dub is.
Are you Mr. Cho Sung-woo's mother?
Yeah, Cho Sung-woo. Yes, he's my son, sir.
Do you know where your son happens to be now?
On business in the United States. Why do you ask, sir?
Well, we're the police. I'm afraid that Mr. Cho Sung-woo has a warrant out for his arrest. He's charged with forgery, embezzlement, crimes that are all some form of financial fraud.
Huh?
And of course, it is very unfair to pretend that older animes had bad dubs. Not all of them were bad. Plenty of classics received excellent English adaptations, including Hunter x Hunter and One Piece. But I do think it's important to mention, first and foremost, that a lot of these were bigger shows. Again, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, probably Dragon Ball. I didn't ever look at the Dragon Ball dub, but, you know. But for One Piece, it is a very interesting case because One Piece had the 4 Kids dub, which isn't a one-to-one replica of the Japanese sub, but I believe that it is very funny. I still die laughing to some of those scenes, and the rap is amazing. Another reason why some people prefer subs is because of censorship, which again is less applicable in modern day, at least in the US. I really can't speak comfortably about other countries. But since dubs are naturally made for these other countries, they're often localized to fit cultural standards and broadcasting regulations. And that can mean changing dialogue, that can mean editing scenes, that can mean altering the animation as a whole. And you've probably seen many examples. For example, Chinese censorship replacing blood with white liquid, which honestly ends up looking more inappropriate than the original, in my opinion. Or the classic Naruto scene in Germany where swords are illegal, so they instead have to just have Zabuza standing on air. The new chakra technique. But even looking at the US, there's plenty of famous examples with the older Sailor Moon, where they completely removed lesbian couples and turned them into cousins, uh, which brings up much more questionable connotations to it. Or the legendary Pokemon jelly filled donuts, which were obviously rice bowls. Was that such a controversial thing to just keep it as rice bowls? But if you are a true seasoned anime fan, you've probably been waiting for me to mention one special little series in terms of the sub versus dub debate, and that's Ghost Stories. Now, if you haven't seen Ghost Stories, the real quick history of Ghost Stories is that the original Japanese anime for Ghost Stories didn't do too well. So whenever it was brought over to America, the American dub team was allowed to just kind of do whatever they wanted with it. So they decided to have a lot of fun, a lot of, let's be honest, controversial moments, and made a story that, in my opinion, is a lot more popular than the original. And this could have never existed if it was just a dub.
Talking about pump, pump, pump! Think of a big black man chasing you!
Well, he's not racist. I guess not. He's only 0.2 seconds faster.
Now, if we fast forward today, things are very different. Modern dubs are often just as good as the original Japanese performance, and in some cases, they're even better. A great example comes from Chainsaw Man, although specifically the manga. But it'll come to the anime. I swear, it's gonna be soon. It's gonna be next season, probably. Where the direct translation of this scene is closer to Makima can hear us. But that doesn't really strike fear. I mean, it's not too many words, but it's like a little bit too wordy. But the English localization changes it to Makima is listening. And despite how small of a difference it is, it carries so much more tension and immediately feels so much more terrifying. And another example would be recently my girlfriend and I were watching ReZero, and she had some chores to do, so we swapped it over to the English dub. And again, I am very biased. I am a sub supremacist. And honestly, whenever I watch a show from its original language, it almost always sounds wrong to me whenever I just change it. Not due to any problems with the voice acting per se, but just because it's not what I was used to. So I'm about to get into some spoilers for season 4 or 3, whatever the recent season is for ReZero. So I do recommend you skip to this point. Presumably there's going to be a time here. I do recommend you skip to that time if you haven't seen it, or just come back when you have, because it is an amazing anime. I would say top 5 animes ever, on my personal ranking. But honestly, I did not like the dub at the beginning. And for some context in this scene, Subaru has just lost his memory. He is stuck in a tower. He is dying over and over. This is one of the hardest challenges he has had thus far. And the last thing he remembers is leaving the convenience store. He doesn't have friends. There's magic all around him being used against him, and he can't even do something as simple as leaving the tower. He is alone. He is lost. He is scared. He is helpless. And the dub gives us this performance.
He can't be trusted. I should have obeyed Anna's gut instinct from the beginning. I should have come alone. None of this would have happened if I'd just listened. This is my failure.
So what if it is? It doesn't matter. This tower's done for.
What's gotten into you, Subaru? It's not like you to accept defeat, I suppose.
What exactly is like me anyway? Where is the me you guys are expecting when you look at me?
So you still won't be honest? Pathetically holding on to the lie that you lost your memories? Rom's forgotten her own twin sister, and Julius has been forgotten by every other person, and you still insist on keeping up this cruel act?
Act? You think this is an act? Are you seriously trying to say that what I'm doing now is an act? If I was that good at acting, don't you think I'd act out something better than this? If I had the privilege of choosing my own role, why the hell would I want to be Subaru Natsuki? A disgusting, useless creep like this. None of you know a single thing about what I've suffered through. Who even am I? I've lost everything I've ever known. I was on my way home from the convenience store. Aside from the clerk working there, I hadn't talked to anyone all day. And then suddenly I'm just in another world. A tower in sand, corpses, exams, fakes, Subaru Natsuki. This is insanity. Whatever, screw all of you. I bet you're wondering why I just suddenly lost my shit, aren't you? Well, I reached my limit. I was pushed too far, and something in me eventually snapped. I can't do anything useful here, even if I give it my all. I tried! So please, forgive me for failing. I'm begging you. Please just let me go back home already. If this is God's way of trying to punish me for something, then I understand. I take responsibility for my actions.
Subaru. Beatrice, you should go with him for the time being. I'll search for Julius myself.
Understood. Come on, Subaru, for now, just...
And there is no way for me to explain how amazing this was. I genuinely don't think they could have done a better job. I rewatched it in Japanese, and I still think that the English dub did so much better of a job. Now, in the end, there simply isn't a simple right answer to the sub versus dub debate anymore. Historically, subtitles were often the better choice because early dubs struggled due to the low budgets, weak localization, and censorship that significantly changed the original work. It really is oftentimes not the same thing. It doesn't convey the same emotions. But we're in 2026. Anime has come a very long way since then. And modern dubbing studios have had much better access to translators, stronger voice actors, and a greater understanding of the source material, allowing many English dubs to stand alongside or even improve certain moments from the original. Whether you choose sub or dub, ultimately it comes down to personal preference, and that's a good thing. Furthermore, there are surprisingly amazing moments from one of the mediums that can be difficult or even impossible in the other, that there is never a true answer, or if there is one, it's the one that touches your heart the most. Now, thank you for watching. Anime is something that I have grown up with, and I truly believe is one of the best mediums out there. I truly believe that there is so much that has been explored and will be explored with anime as a medium, and I truly love it. And I think that many of you do as well. So I really do appreciate you watching. Please send me your favorite anime. Um I probably know it, to be fair, but try and surprise me. See you next time. Bye bye.